Since Nelson has been gone, our neighbour's cat has become very friendly. Welcome back to Blown Away. We are a 1970s steel ketch sailing around the globe. Meet your hosts, Nat and Ian. And together, we are living a life less ordinary. Yay! Nat's back! Now, some of you may know that Nat and myself did the filming for the James Bond movie No Time to Die with Daniel Craig. Now, I can neither confirm nor deny that Nat went back to take a look at this beauty. This is the Spirit Yacht CRE44. It is an all-electric, all-singing, all-dancing, classic yacht built using modern materials. And that's a long way to fly back just to take a look at it. Possibly there's one of these coming up in a future episode. Stay tuned. Meanwhile, back to the cabin restoration.
These are quite large pieces, but they are quite badly marked in places. So unless we need to use them, we won't. And then on top of that, we have our roll of 7 meters that I just brought back from the UK, still untouched.
Yeah, which is the big bits for the cabin.
Big bits for the cabin.
We'll have a chat with the young German kids, see if they're interested in any of this stuff, because they might want it for their cabin, because it's actually good insulation.
It is.
So if you've got a fiberglass hull, putting this on, because it's foam backed and it's vinyl, it takes away the moisture, and it also stops you from feeling cold when you lay against it. So we'll talk to them, see if they want some of this.
Okay, cool.
When we're finished. Good morning. Today we start on the vinyl. How exciting, Natalie.
See the excitement?
This is the spray glue that we could buy locally, and the trouble with cold glue is the viscosity of it. It doesn't spray very well, so I'm going to use some hot water in a bucket to warm these cans up so that this stuff comes out a lot better than when it's cold. So I'm just going to leave that glue in the sink for half an hour. We'll let that warm up. Boat jobs. Oh, boat jobs. So I just thought, oh, vinyl, have to cut the vinyl. Scissors, good scissors. Where are the good scissors? Ah, they're in the sewn box. We keep them in the sewn box because why wouldn't you? It's an obvious place to keep good scissors, right? There's the sewing machine underneath everything else. This is the panel we are going to do first. Yeah, everyone knows Nat does all the work. The reason I want to do that is this panel. The back of it is where all the electrical cables are, and those are 240 volt, which are held together with sticky tape at the moment, which is never good. And I want to put another socket in the workshop for charging batteries, etc., drill batteries, that kind of thing. And I need to take it off of this socket, so if I do this, I can then reattach all the electrics. This one needs a little bit more work. I think we need to go over this with a thinner's rag again. There's just a few bits and pieces that need to come off. Rag and thinners is the easiest way to do that. Yeah, other than that, pretty much ready to get started, really. Yeah, this one I haven't finished cleaning. This one's going to get done last. We can actually do that when everything's back in the cabin. So if we can do this side here, hello, and this bulkhead here, then that one we can do, because I've got a frame on it anyway. So, and look at the nice shiny varnish.
Don't look at it too closely, it was quite dusty.
Yeah, that's fine, that's okay. GE standard.
Cutting department.
Cutting and measuring.
Yeah.
Don't forget, measure once, cut twice.
No. In my cutting department, we measure twice, cut once. Ta-da!
So, this edge here, no staples. Top, no staples. Down the side, no staples. And down the bottom, we will staple it. And the reason we'll staple gun it is that when we lift this mattress up to access these lockers here, if we don't staple the bottom, we will peel the vinyl back, unfortunately. And the other thing that we've learned to use on this as well is this masking tape with paper attached to it. And what we're using is this decorating strip. So it's masking tape with paper already pre-attached to it, so that when you spray the glue, it doesn't go everywhere else. I can tell you, it's the only excitement I get sailing is 90% boredom, 10% glue sniffing.
Terror.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't forget to use correct PPE whenever you do any jobs like this, okay?
Got it the right way up?
It really matters, to be honest. It's pretty much rectangular. Okay. So we start from the middle and work our way out. So whenever we're applying this vinyl, so we start from here, and then we're working the air bubbles outwards. And as you spread this vinyl, it actually stretches quite a bit as well. So it's no good being really tight against the joins, because when you do, you end up with a curled up section of vinyl that you then have to cut off. So you're better off leaving a small gap and then pushing your way out. Our cuts are going to be a small cut here to get the angle correct, and then obviously that big piece there as we cut off.
Okay, so we just peel the top back slightly.
Because we can. This glue is workable, so you can work with this glue. Put it on and then pull it off a little bit, put it back on. And I've only put a small amount of glue on. I haven't absolutely soaked it in glue, because I know that I've got to put more on once I've done this.
And he also knows that in 20 years' time, when the boat's 65 years old and he's doing this for the third time,
Never gonna happen.
it's easier to get the glue off if there's less on there.
Never gonna happen.
Right?
Yeah, kind of glue that. So now I can bring this back off, spray glue this. Surprising how much glue you go for actually. And I always work harder in the edges, so where the edges meet the wood, I'll give it extra glue, because I know that that's where it's going to start to peel from. Remember, this is glue on top of glue as well, so you're melting the stuff that's underneath, because the propellant that's in the second layer melts the first layer. Like paint, it's chemical bonding. And I'm going to work it from top to bottom, push it back into position.
And same procedure at the other end.
Yep. So now this bit's bonded. So now this stays, and then this peels back, cut it, respray it, and then put it back in. And that's what I found works. And this is the second time. And this is the second time I've done this boat in 20 years. So I should really know what I'm doing now, right?
Fool, you should have sold it.
Should have bought a plastic boat. Trev was right.
You could have painted this, it would have looked lovely. Trev says.
Would have taken ages. I'd have had to epoxy it all and seal all the holes, and there's been all kinds of things bolted and screwed into these cabin bulkheads over the years. So there's so many holes. To paint this would have just, it would take me 10 times longer to paint this properly than it would do to vinyl it. Because the vinyl's foam back, it covers all the holes. Any screw holes or any problems with the wooden bulkheads, because don't forget the boat's 50 years old, so there's always going to be picture frames screwed to it and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Once you're happy it's in the right position, I'm going to lock it down. Perfect.
Okay.
So when the mattress gets picked up, it doesn't lift the edge all the time, because that's what we found happens over the years. But yeah, it's fine, it's perfect. I remember my dad doing wallpaper.
Yeah.
This is pretty much the same, right?
It's exactly
It's
the
like
same.
foam back wallpaper.
Nice square corners in every corner,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
nice flat walls.
Yeah.
No
Exactly.
tongue and groove ceiling panels.
Nice and square. Nice and square, like every 1930s house was.
Yeah. Well, square in the 1970s boat.
Much squarer. Yeah.
Okay. So masking tape
Yeah, so
you
I need
need
to
to
match the
keep
wood.
that piece of material that way round, because then you've got the flat edge at the
Okay,
bottom.
so we'll put a bit of tape on the top. So that piece is that's my top section there. Right, if you move that out of my way from that, please. Might just stop me breathing in glue. That'd be it. Don't worry about it. Like that with my underpants.
Top. I have very important jobs.
Just using the rounded section of the scissors to push it all the way back into the corner because it's moving in my head.
It's action shot.
So while I'm fitting the second panel into the boat, Nat can continue making the third one.
Okay, it doesn't have to be an exact size, because as you can tell we're about to go and hack it to pieces down there.
Hack?
Hack!
We're going to accurately cut it,
So,
Natalie.
Accurately mark and
Accurately cut the vinyl. So one of the things I've been waiting to do is to add a socket into the workshop, because there's no power source in here, which is somewhat irritating. So we picked this up from the electrical shop. It's not particularly great quality, but I'm sure it'll survive. So my plan is to mount this probably on this bulkhead, because there's power on the other side of it. Choices. So I originally bought this socket some years ago to go in this workshop, and then never got around to fitting it. Because it's a 3-pin, a lot of my tools are now 2-pin sockets, the European style. I thought I'd put a European socket in. So I pulled the European socket apart, and I'm not knocking Europe in any way, shape or form with this. It's just nasty, really. That socket's just horrible. In comparison to what we bought, you know, this is ceramic or something. It's not just really thin, cheap plastic from wherever. Here we have the original cordless drill. Hey Nat, I need some 3-core Arctic cabling for the main circuit. Do we have any?
Ta-da!
Wow, you're well prepared with spare parts, aren't you?
Yeah. So brown is live, which is that one. Ta-da!
Wow, you're like an electrician. So Nat has just wired up an electrical socket for the first time in her life. 240 volts, 13 amps. She's done the wiring, put the socket on the bulkhead. Fine job. So now we just need to plug it in and see if anyone dies. Do you want to offer it up?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
You can go your way a bit further.
Right, Nat, shut the door. The fan's blowing it in the saloon. Okay, I've got to start and then it'll work out anyway. I think we're not far off there.
little pencil mark around the light. I'm not sure if you're going to...
So we've started here, bonded this onto the bulkhead, and then I've swept it that way. I'm now going to start gluing here and sweeping this way. There's another porthole here. The good thing with the portholes is that when we replaced the plexiglass, I didn't completely lop off the ends of the bolts. They needed to be fairly long to compress the butyl that was in there, so I can tighten them up a little bit more, etc. if I needed to. So you can see on the other side, you'll see this side as well when I've done it, the bolts will protrude through the vinyl. And it just means I have to cut around the vinyl to get the bolts through, which shows me where the window is. I've used a window frame as well, drawn around a window frame to get the correct shape. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's behind a wooden frame, you cannot see it. Same with here, this top half, it's behind a wooden beading that goes along here. That top cut is completely invisible. Bottom half is underneath the mattress, so the only cuts that really matter with this panel is that end and this end here. So I'm being a little bit more careful with how I mark it and how I cut it. I need to get one screw started. Hang on, I'll deal with that in a minute. Just get one screw started, preferably this one. I've got it in position.
No, this one's grown. The other one had shrunk, this one's grown.
Right, just rest it there a minute, mind your fingers.
Okay.
There's a small piece of wood that is part of the frame for this that we took off. Maybe it went in too high last time, but you were made to sleep under it.
No, I could get in under it before.
Yeah, so I'm thinking it needs to be kind of up there more.
But you're saying there was a panel on that end?
There were wooden panels, yeah.
So it was a wooden panel
But
plus
I
vinyl.
made the wooden panels.
Yeah.
And I don't recall cutting this shelf shorter.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter. I can fill it in with teak. Oh, you won't see it. I can make it invisible. Not that I'm bothered about it. It's a bike shed. They don't make furniture like this anymore. This shelf is the weight of a Bavaria.
Okay.
Nothing personal, sorry, that's.
What?
Oh, slipped us, okay.
Okay. So should there be another little piece of wood at this end?
I don't know. Probably makes sense to have one there. I can't remember if there was one. So it should be like that.
Got my girly comment there. Ooh, that's nice.
Lovely.
Nice and shiny.
Lovely. Okay. Let's get through. Flick the lights on. The main circuit, please. Fully functional. We're good. And this is panel number 5, which is the last one. Now, I'm not going to bother showing this. You get the gist of it. We start in the middle, work to the sides, and then cut around the edges, having marked it with a pencil. Wow, look how shiny that varnish is. And because this cabin is used for storage, it often gets scuffed with bags and bicycles or anything else that gets crammed into here. So this is a scuff board, and all this does is it will screw across the vinyl, and it will be the point of wear, so it's belt height basically, roughly where your hips would be, the bit that you rub against the vinyl or where you squeeze in and out of this cupboard.
Hey, that doesn't reach my hips.
That's what the skirting board's for. Well, we've been working on this cabin for over a month. In video parlay, it's going to equate to a 1-week episode, but it's actually taken us a month to fully refurbish this cabin. We started in December when we came back from the UK, and it's the first week in February now, so it's taken the whole of January for us to do this to a standard that we are happy with, and I'm happy with this. It's come out really well. So I guess I can close the door on that chapter. See ya. At the end of the video, we would like to thank our Ko-fi supporters: David, Captain Svetlana, Bill and Liam McKenna, Tim Griffin, thank you for your donation, and our Patreon supporters: Captain Matt Clark, Ian Firth Clark, Michael Barries, Miles Povey, Parr. You really need to tell me how to pronounce that surname. And if you made it this far in the video, thank you very much for watching, and please leave a comment in the comment sections. We will reply personally to your message. It is not a canned response.